Sune, hopefully you don't decline at this time. Okay, we got you.
Hi.
How's it
Sorry.
going, Sune?
Thank you.
All
Yourself?
right. I see you declined the first invitation.
Yeah, my bad. Myself and technology doesn't always work together.
No, don't worry, don't worry. Welcome. Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you. Anytime.
Yeah, so this basically has just been a little bit of a fun thing that we're doing in lockdown times, touching base with all the players and
Yeah.
coaches and whoever, just to hear what they're up to and, find a bit of, or find some more insight into each and every one of you guys. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
thanks for being here and let's get this
Sure.
ball rolling.
Yeah.
Cool. I've got a few questions about 35 to 40. Joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. No, it's
I was
30.
ready.
No, it's about 12 questions. Nice and chilled, really relaxed. If you've got a drink, even better. And yeah,
Our drinks
if
are
you
finished. We got water. I hope that's
water,
okay.
water's good. Water's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm on a whiskey, so
I'm glad
it's
you still
just
have.
yes, no, I do definitely. But anyway, let's get into it.
Yeah.
This cricketing journey of yours, where did it
Yeah.
all begin for you?
Well, my dad was a mini cricket coach back in the day. I think it was still called Baker's Cricket. And I was, and probably still am, a very much of a daddy's girl. So wherever he went, I went. And I have an older brother as well. I think most of our stories start like that. We have an older brother. Yeah. But yeah, then I used to go with him to the cricketing functions, or the mini cricket games that they have. And I would always enjoy just joining my brother's team and helping out whenever a kid didn't show up or anything. And yeah, I think my dad spotted a talent, and I think kind of from there, I went back every day, and enjoyed it as much as I could and got better at it. So yeah, from there it kind of just grew into what I am today.
Fantastic, great. So, what made you decide to take cricket and make it your career?
Oh, I think it kind of decided for me. I wasn't much of a like an academic at school. I didn't
Okay.
really enjoy studying. I used to slip class to go train cricket. If any of my teachers are on here, sorry. But yeah, but yeah, no, like at 16, it was always a dream of mine to become, a South African athlete or South African cricketer. And at that stage, it wasn't very professional. So I still had the option of going to university, studying probably something I didn't like, going that route. But yeah, once I think cricket became professional sport, it kind of chose me. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah, fantastic. I think definitely a great start to your young life. I
Yeah,
think you've done many things. You've travelled the world with the game, so absolutely
yeah.
fantastic. You were studying, or you are still studying something, if I'm not mistaken.
I am still studying. It's been a journey. Uh, yeah, I'm currently in my second year of communication science through UNISA.
Okay,
And hopefully, with everything going on, we can still write exams. So we'll see how that goes.
definitely.
But I also did a diploma in sports science, so I finished that.
Okay,
And
great.
I did a random year of education somewhere in between all of these years. Still need to finish that someday as well.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. As long as you can pick it up somewhere again. I mean,
Yeah.
you get caught in the wilderness with certain things, and then as long as you come back to them, I think that's important.
Yeah.
Tell me, how is it, or how difficult is it to balance a professional cricketing career with all your training that you're doing and traveling the world, and then still studying at UNISA?
I think studying through NISA is quite easy when you have the professional cricketing side. It's just online, and believe it or not, you have a lot of time on tour. So if you decide to use it wisely, studying is actually, it's not that bad. You kind of just train in the mornings or train in the afternoons, and then you kind of have the whole rest of the day to study. And especially through NISA, it isn't that bad. Or I guess depending on what you're studying, but we just have a few assignments in the semester, and then obviously the exam. And then
Yeah.
normally when it's exam time, there isn't much cricket, so you can kind of just focus on that.
Yeah.
But it's obviously been a challenge. Like I said, I couldn't finish education. I couldn't go do practicals. So that kind of made me stop. So that kind of sucked. So there's definitely challenges in, I guess, in what you study. But something like communication science is kind of very easy. You just do everything online.
Okay.
And then just exams, you go in and write. So we have, as athletes, I think you have a lot of free time or spare time if you don't work on the side as well. So for me, it's not a pain. And it's actually something I enjoy doing. So it's not hard at all.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think if you're forced out of it due to the not being able to attend lessons and attend certain things, then yeah, there's nothing you could do about it. But hopefully you find success in what you are studying and some love for where you're going and your journey takes you. And let's hope you have a massive career in it, you know?
Yeah, hopefully.
If you weren't a cricketer, what would you be?
Initially,
at this time in your life, let's call it right now, in this time in your life.
Okay, right now.
Besides just a student.
No. I think I quite enjoy the presenting side of things, being a broadcaster, maybe not so much the commentating. I think the last time I commentated, I said, what a couch instead of what a catch. So I kind of need to work on that a little bit. But I think something that's definitely something I want to do is do presenting. I don't really care if it's cricket or soccer or rugby or whatever. It's kind of just being still in the sporting environment, kind of, I enjoy being in the spotlight. So being in the spotlight with that as well. So hopefully there's an opportunity for that after cricket as well. Or during cricket, you never know. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Fantastic. Hopefully it takes flight like your cricket career.
Yeah, really.
So if I take you back and I'll let you think, beside your father now, with the Bakers mini cricket, who was your very first proper coach that started teaching you technique? Let's even slide away from your brother.
Yeah, I think I had a primary school coach, Philip Kemp. He was kind of just a primary school coach, but then I got to high school and then I met Abni van Wyk. And when I got to him, he kind of looked at my on drive, which at that stage was just a kind of a flick, I don't know, through the leg side somewhere. And then he turned it actually into a proper on drive. So I think he's one of the guys that actually had a very big influence in my technique specifically, and just the kind of way in which I think about cricket. And him obviously alongside Petrus, who's with him there at Menlo. So I think them two have a very big influence on my game. Yeah,
and I know them personally, and they are absolutely fantastic coaches and human beings, and they've had an influence on many players. I mean, Heinrich Klaassen, Rassie, I can name probably 50. They're
the ones that helped me skip class and hide and head me in the nets.
So, well, I guess there you go. There's your scapegoats. You can point fingers at them if any teachers are watching. Lockdown, tough time for everyone in the country, in the world. I've asked this of a couple of people. The first 3 weeks, 21 days, and then obviously an additional 2 weeks of level 5 lockdown. What did you do for the first 5 weeks?
Oh, it's so boring. I didn't have, obviously the exams were still far, so I didn't really study that much. So I kind of I try to get a routine as much as I can, but obviously days here and there you kind of don't feel up to it. So I kind of just woke up, got breakfast, put Netflix on. If I was tired of lying in the bed, I would go train. Luckily we have a big yard, so do a bit of sprints and running around and stuff. And my mom is at work, so it's just me and my dad. So I've been keeping him busy. He loves music, so we've been going through all his old CDs. We're probably going through it for the 100th time. It's not fun anymore.
But listen, I'm a massive music fanatic, so he's probably got a massive music collection to last 5 weeks. So
he's on it. But it's kind of just keeping ourselves busy. Not much.
Fantastic. So for those of you guys who are not in South Africa, we moved on to level 4 last week, which released a few of the regulations and that, so we can slowly start moving around and exercising outside of our houses. So what have you been doing since level 4? Let's throw that out there. Has anything changed really?
No, it kind of just forced me to wake up a bit earlier, I guess. Normally I'm not out of the bed before 9. So it kind of just forced me to wake up a bit earlier. I've been going on a few runs every now and again. I don't really go on walks. It's not very pretty to walk through houses, I guess. So, and I went for a cycle once, but it's a bit dangerous. So I think I'll just stick to the running in the area.
Okay, fantastic. Good. Hopefully you stay fit. I believe there's a fitness test coming up, but we'll talk about that in a second. Are you doing anything other than running? Are you doing any explosive exercises, stuff like that to prepare you for that fitness test?
Oh yeah, I've been doing a lot of yo-yo training, a lot of kind of 20-meter sprints, kind of just to get used to, still running and turning in full speed and everything. I don't want to just do long runs. Otherwise, it's going to make me fit, but it's not going to make me yo-yo fit, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
kind of just doing some sprints to keep that speed up. And yeah, Russell sent a few programs through, a few power sessions that we have to complete twice a week. So been doing that, and we've also started bowling and throwing this week, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that's good.
So we get to do 60 throws a week, which is, I completed it today, so I don't know what I'm going to do till Monday.
You'll have to throw the other arm.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get the lefty going. And yeah, we've been started bowling again, so a bit of stationary, standing still bowling, shadow bowling, kind of just getting, the wrist used to that movement again, and get the muscle memory going again.
Yeah. So all your basic skills, your soft skills, and that's important. So fantastic. Do you think this lockdown is going to have a massive impact on the ladies' game going forward?
Oh, I hope not. I mean, the 100 already got cancelled, which I think for the girls who are going to be part of that sucks. I think that was going to be a great tournament, and especially after the World Cup we've had, and the great amount of exposure the ladies' game have, got. It's really sad to see that being cancelled, but obviously it's circumstances that's out of our control. But hopefully, the Big Bash hopefully still going on. I'm not sure. I think if that can still go on, it would mean a lot for women's cricket. There's a lot of great players playing in there, and I think that tournament really exposes the women's game a lot, especially being a standalone tournament now as well. And then hopefully after that they can get as many international tours in as they can, especially with the World Cup being in Jan already. I'm not sure if that's still happening. Hopefully,
we hope. We really hope.
But if that's still happening, that means we have to play a lot of cricket to prepare for that beforehand. So hopefully they kind of just do a lot of tours and a lot of games before, so we can be ready. So hopefully it doesn't affect the game as much, but obviously it's going to have some impact, as it has had all around the world and everything.
Correct. Yeah, I think massive hype around the T20 World Cup that just took place, which we'll touch on now, and then also that final of 90 whatever thousand people in the stadium, down to absolutely nothing, no cricket, not even men's cricket, to be honest. So it definitely, I think, would have had an immediate impact, but hopefully over the course of the next year, more games obviously take place now with the World Cup coming up again. So we can only hold thumbs.
Definitely.
So obviously the Protea ladies have had a very successful World Cup. Could have been better if one or two things went our way in the semi-finals. How was the team's morale after that, after the tournament and after the day? Let's put it in two phases.
Well, after the day, it obviously sucked a lot. Having the final so close, and not being able to get over the line. I think it was a very hard pill to swallow for us. I think as we flew back, we still couldn't believe it. Just some things here and there, the rain that wasn't in our favor, that everybody kind of said would be in our favor the whole day. just uncontrollable stuff that happened. And I guess it's just one of those things. But I think from that tournament, we got a lot of confidence as a team and as individuals. We had an Australia series that was supposed to start like 7 days afterwards or something, and obviously that didn't happen. But I think everyone going into that series were pretty confident and were actually ready for a very big challenge. Because I think playing Australia, we've always come so close. I mean, we've tied a game against them. We've lost by 1 run. We saw in the semi-final, it was 6 or 7 runs. Yeah. So I think for us going into that series, everybody was so ready and so prepared. I think everybody was fit. So yeah, everybody was pretty confident going into that series. So we were pretty disappointed when that got called off. Yeah. But hopefully everybody is still in a good space. And hopefully once this thing is over, you know, everybody can kind of just pick up where we left off and kind of just continue to grow in our games and continue to get stronger and fitter and be ready for whenever the next series is.
Yes, yeah, hopefully soon. So yeah. that Australia series that you touched on, the men normally have every year a pink day. You guys were going to have something unique there. I think it was the black day where you all wore black. Can you take us through what that meant and what's the significance behind it, if you don't mind?
Yeah, no, we were pretty excited for that day. Although we kind of think it should be switched around. We need to do the pink day and they kind of need to do, the men need to do the black day, but it is what it is. Yeah. It's raising awareness nonetheless, so it doesn't really matter who plays in what game. But yeah, it was kind of just to raise awareness for, I think it was gender-based violence. Yeah, and you know, kind of just to get people more aware of the situation and what's currently happening in our country and in the world. So we were supposed to wear black. Australia were ready to wear black as well. So it was going to be a good game. Yeah. I don't know if I think they launched it.
They did do the launch.
Yeah.
Or soft launch. But obviously no game.
But hopefully it only gets it, you know, hopefully we can do that in the next series that we have in South Africa. It would be a shame if that didn't happen anymore. But yeah, we were all pretty excited, pretty ready to play in black. It was going to be very strange, and I think we're going to play in Durban, which was going to be quite hot. So hopefully we can move it to PE or wherever there's a kind of a wind going. So
then you'll be all right.
But John, it was going to be a pretty cool day. Everybody was really excited for it.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm sure it will be when it is eventually launched properly and the game takes place. I think it's going to be a fantastic thing, and hopefully the rest of the world catches on and follows suit.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's hope so. Talking about, just jumping back again to the semi-final, obviously the rain got to play a massive part in the day. Do you think that you guys were hard done by Duckworth and Luus, or do you just think that you were maybe behind them on the 8 ball? I don't know. I watched the game. Yeah. I think you were hard done by. But what's your feelings on that?
Yeah, no, I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses or anything. Obviously, it's a game of cricket and there's rules and whatever. But yeah, we were pretty confident before the Duckworth Luus. Look, we were kind of ready to play a game nonetheless. Our captain Danae said to us beforehand, we are going to play, wrap your heads around it. So the rain is going to stop. So if you guys need to be ready. We don't know how many overs or what's happening, but you just need to be ready to play. So our minds were ready and set on playing. But then we felt as Duckworth Luus came and then, I don't know, 97 or something that we needed to chase, we felt it was a bit weird because the run rate was higher than what we initially had to get. So I'm not sure how the Duckworth Luus works. I don't think we'll ever know how it works. But we were pretty confident if we had to chase the original total, it would have been fine. But obviously, Australia did pretty well with their bowling and, you know, the fields they set. It was always going to be a challenge for us. But yeah, hopefully next time.
No, definitely, and there will be a next time. That's the amazing thing about sport. So you played a year and a bit ago in the Big Bash. Do you think that, and you had a very good World Cup. Do you think that Big Bash prepared you for the competition or the tournament as a whole?
Yeah, I think you get a lot of experience in the Big Bash. I don't think people really understand or grasp, like, the Big Bash is as good as international cricket for me.
Yeah.
When I got over there, I think the setup, the players, the coaches, the support staff, I think everything was so professional. It felt better than international cricket for me. So I think, and the facilities you get, the gym, I had to gym. I'm not a big gymmer, but I wanted to go gym just because of the facilities, if you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
no, definitely, I think it, all the people, all the players that play in that competition, it's such a high standard that when you get to international cricket, you already know all the players, the standard that you have to, set or had to kind of be ready for. So I think everybody playing in the Big Bash kind of prepares them for international cricket in a way that, unfortunately, we in South Africa are never going to get exposed to. So I think if anyone can get the opportunity to play in the Big Bash, you should utilize it, because it's really it's probably the best tournament in the world for women's sport. But no, it's just so professional, and the standard of cricket is extremely high. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, it is one of the best in the world, and I mean that's what sets them apart from the rest of the world at the moment. Let's just talk Big Bash and Kia. You've played in both. I was hoping that everyone would get exposure in the 100 as well, because I'd like to find out about that and everyone's thoughts around that as well. But pros in the Big Bash compared to pros in the Kia Super League. Obviously, the traveling is minimal in England, because you're traveling such short distances. In Australia, you've taken flights around the country.
Yeah.
But other than that, what other pros are there in comparison to each other?
Yeah, I think, well, obviously I enjoyed the Big Bash a bit better, or a bit more. It was obviously a longer tournament, which gave you time to kind of settle in, get to know the players a bit more, get to know the coaches. You kind of get to build relationship with the coaches, and they kind of get to know your game, and what makes you tick and what not. Whereas I felt in the Super League, it's quite a quick turnaround between games and stuff, and you don't always, before I get to know a player, I need to say bye already again. So with the Big Bash, I think it might seem long. It's 2 months, but I think it's a good time for you to kind of get settled in another country. I mean, you get given a great flat or accommodation wherever you are, a great car. So it really feels like home when you're there. And I remember when I had to say bye to my Brisbane Heat teammates. We cried freaking the whole night while we celebrated. It was crying of laughter and crying of happiness and sadness and everything. But so the Big Bash was extremely great. But then also the Super League was also cool. I mean, you get to play with world-class players from England, and you get to experience those conditions, the English conditions, which isn't always easy. I remember my first game, we played against Kapi's team, and I was opening the batting on, it looked like the grass outside here. It was such a green wicket, and I know how she nips and swings and everything, and I was standing there looking like I was an amateur. So kind of just getting used to the conditions, and getting to play on different surfaces and stuff like that is really cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that it builds you for the later years of your career. You learn a lot from that. So
definitely,
big positives to come out of both, I definitely think. Looking over your whole career, and I know you started playing in the national side at a very young age. What do you think was the defining point in your career?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint, because I think I'll just go one of my best years. I think it was when I was 20/21. I think I took 32 wickets in one calendar year. So I think that was kind of a door opening moment for my career. I think I got Big Bash afterwards, got Kia. So that was kind of cool for my career to kind of build up, and to get, I think, the most wickets out of everyone in the world in one season. So that was pretty cool.
Definitely, I think so. Who do you? I'm going to throw it out there. It's a difficult question, I guess. Who do you attribute those? Who do you give those wickets to? Who do you think helped you get those wickets? Who was the coach at that time working with you on your leg spin?
I think it was at a time when I was still at Tuks. I trained with Kurtley and Pierre. Um, and they obviously have pretty high standards.
Yes.
So we were training extremely hard at Tucks. And I know I wasn't getting wickets beforehand. And I think Pierre just said to me, just keep working hard and the results will show eventually. And I remember his words weren't called yet. Yeah. And that just happened. And he just looked at me and he just said, I told you. So I think working with them and obviously the teammates and the coaches from the SA side, I think it was and is still a very enjoyable environment. And I think if it's in a very enjoyable environment, everybody's cricket just goes to the next level and you just enjoy it. So yeah.
I think the intensity is one of those things that just set it apart as well.
Yeah.
It's always at the highest level. So fantastic. Touching on your bowling again, while we're on it, I saw a question come through earlier today, and normally I'd save these for right at the end, but today I've just changed it up. I've thrown the questions in between. That's why we've got so many questions. But a question came in, and it was around the lines of, are you working on any other deliveries other than just leg spin? Are you working on the googly, flipper, and how are they working? How are they coming out?
Yeah, I think last year I started working on the googly. Obviously, it's not a very natural thing for me to do. I don't know. My brain doesn't understand the concept of the ball having to come at the other side and then turning the other way. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. My hand wants to do it. Like my wrist is there, but then my brain kind of tells him it's weird, you can't do it. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I've got it right once or twice in training. I haven't had the guts to bowl it in the game yet, but hopefully now is a good time to just start getting used to that feeling. I think maybe just bowling 20 or 30 deliveries like that once or twice a week, trying to just get used to that, that feeling. And yeah, so that's kind of one thing I've been working on. So hopefully in the near future, it will happen.
Awesome.
They say leg spinners only peak at 30. So I still have 6 years to go. So.
Yes, good. No, you'll get there. So keep working on it and throw it out there in our provincial games. I think we're going to start our season a lot earlier here. So hopefully you can get those out there and take a few wickets and change Northern's luck over the last few years.
Luckily there's no cameras or anything, so nobody will see you when it goes to the other side of the pitch.
As long as you're learning and feeling it and getting it out there in the middle, important. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Who was your biggest role model and influencer throughout your career? And then I'm going to add something on top of that. Who is your biggest favorite cricketer? Male, female, doesn't matter. Currently in the game.
I don't really have a specific person I had throughout my career. I think there were a lot of people kind of in stages in my career that helped me. Like I said, Arnu van Wyk had he played a big role in my cricketing career throughout high school. And then obviously I went to uni, and Pierre de Bruin. He was kind of my mentor for 2 or 3 years before he left for Namibia. And at the moment I'm quite enjoying Creer van Wyk. He helped out at a few of our fielding sessions. He came to New Zealand with us as well. And I think it's just the fact that they have a next level intensity, the way they go about their training and just about life in general. I really feed off that. So throughout my career, it would be those three that really helped me. Fantastic. And a favorite cricketer at the moment, I think with women, it's obviously Elise Perry, just because she's so annoyingly good. Like, I've read her book, and her off day, when my off day would be lie in bed, watch series, eat junk food every day, or on my off day, she would do Pilates, and that's just an off day. And I'm just like, you never rest. Like, but that's just kind of how she is the best in the world and how she got there. So I really admire that. And I really respect, her training ways and how much dedication she puts into her work. And I think that kind of shows in her career, and that's kind of why she is who she is and why she is where she are today.
Yeah, she's really incredible, but she's setting the benchmark. So keep chasing that, and hopefully you reach her and bypass her in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think she got injured before, in the World Cup, And
She
then
did.
and the universe was like, the world needs to stop. She needs to, she needs to heal. Just bring the world to a standstill that Elise Perry
100,
can heal.
100%. All the stars were aligned for you guys to beat them. You know,
Yeah,
everything. It's not something we wish on anyone, but yeah,
yeah,
the stars were aligning, and then it just didn't happen. So the disappointment must have been massive.
yeah.
So let's just build a scenario for you quickly. I know we get a lot of people watching this and a lot of youngsters as well that fire a lot of questions to us. So I try and help them as best I can as well. Let's say, for argument's sake, you play in a match on Saturday against Brisbane Heat versus Sydney Sixers. What do you do for the days leading up to that game? Preparation, training-wise, meals, and what do you do the day before and morning of the game especially?
I would have loved to sit here and give you my whole routine and my whole diet plan and everything, but unfortunately, I'm not that kind of player. I'm a very easygoing person. I think everybody has different routines and stuff they use before game, and what they do and stuff like that. But I'm a very chill person. But I used to never ever think of games the day before or leading up during a game. But nowadays, I've kind of just been kind of visualizing what I want to do, kind of playing the scenario in my head. Kind of just making myself the hero of the game, if I can say it like that, the champion of the game. So I think the night before game, I would kind of just visualize how I would take my team over the line or do something incredible in the match. Just kind of get that winning feeling and the confident feeling. So that's something I've been trying out, because I'm not a routine type of person. But I know Charlie told me the one day, I think you were in the meeting, that's something you need to do. Just to have something that's consistent in your building up towards a game. So I'm not someone that's going to write down my goals and stuff for that match and everything. So that's something that's been working for me, kind of just visualizing how I do something spectacular in the game, and that kind of just excites me for the game that's coming. And then what I eat the night before probably depends what my mom makes for me the night before. But we're usually on tour when we play cricket. So then we'll kind of we always go out for dinner, because obviously you live in a hotel, you need to go buy food. But we always just try and get a good meal in before. Not trying to eat a pizza or a burger or whatever, just trying to get some nutrients, get that in your body. Not anything fancy, if that was what they're hoping for.
Definitely. So I'm gonna throw it out there. It's also part of our later questions, because I'm just filtering everything together at the moment. Normally I would ask in a speed round at the end, what's your favorite meal? So Russell's not watching, nobody cares. Junk food, what do you go for? What's your go-to meal?
Oh, I love sushi.
Sushi, that's a good one. So it's not bad at all.
No, it's very healthy.
No, it is 100% correct. You're in the national side. You're one of the, I think there's about 4 or 5 all-rounders within the national side. And some days you find yourself batting 6 and bowling. Other days you find yourself opening or batting 3 and not bowling. How do you just adjust yourself just to get ready for those aspects of the game?
It's quite difficult. I've learned now that I need to stay flexible with regards to batting and bowling. I know kind of with bowling, if I don't bowl on the day, then it kind of wasn't needed, that the captain had a plan with all her bowlers, and if on the day my type of bowling and my type of deliveries wasn't what she needed, then it's all good. Then I completely understand that. So that's just kind of how the game goes. So you can't really prepare for that. I think you kind of prepare before the game, always as if you're going to bowl in the game, as if you're going to have to bowl your 10 overs or 4 overs. But then obviously the situation changes in the game. So you can't really control that. With regards to batting, normally before the game starts, I get told where if I'm opening, if I'm batting 6. But I guess that's part of the fun for me at the moment. I think I bat at my best when I don't really know what's my role and where I'm gonna bat. I think the game against Thailand in the World Cup, just after the warm-ups, I think Danae came to me and she's like, "You're opening or you're batting 3 today." No, yeah, batting 3 today, and I'm like, "Hi, thank you."
And you did well. You
Yeah,
did very
so
well.
I think so normally when I don't, they've never told me the game or the day before if I'm gonna bat so high, and I think they have a plan with that, and it's been working. So if Danae is watching, she should keep doing that because it's been working. But I
Yes, yeah.
kind of just you kind of, I think batting is batting wherever you bat. You're still gonna make. Our coach always says the team with the most runs wins. So no matter where you bat, you're gonna have to make runs, and you're gonna have to take that responsibility and try and get your team over the line.
Correct. Yeah, it's a big thing, and it's quite a difficult thing to juggle, I'm sure, especially with the likes of yourself and Danae. You know, you guys are captaining as well. I mean, you're captaining on certain days when she's not available, and with her injuries and that, and it's heavy pressure. And then you got to bat 3 or not bowl, or it's just it's up in the air. But you got to be ready for anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it's part of the game.
Yeah, definitely. So the ladies' game especially, has grown immensely over the past 4 years. There's even talks of IPL. There's been those like sort of startup IPL intros the last year or two. Where do you think the game's going to go over the next, let's call it again, 4 years? And what's the movement going to be? Is it going to be more focused on T20? Are they going to try and introduce more Test cricket? What do you feel?
I hope it's a combination of everything. I think we've been pleading for more Test cricket games, no matter how boring it might get for for spectators or for ourselves. But I think it's just very important to, I don't know, grow the game in the sense that we get to play all those formats. I think the more we play Test cricket, the more we can get a feel for all the formats of the game, and for. I think they always say Test cricket is where you test yourself as a cricketer, like that's the ultimate test. And I think if they expose that, and if they give us a chance to do that, if it's only one Test match a series that you have to play just to kind of get used to it, I think that would be pretty cool. But I think they're kind of looking to do more T20 stuff at the moment. I think that's kind of where the entertainment is, where the money is as well. And then especially with 100 coming on, and if that's successful, I can just imagine how big that is going to get. I think the money with the T20 games, I think that's kind of where they're going, because obviously kind of want to make as much money as you can during your short career. And I think that's a great opportunity, especially for countries that don't get as much money as an Australian side or England side would get. But I think, with the 90,000 people that were at the last final, I can just imagine how it's going to be at the next, next World Cup and the next one. And I think it can't really go back. It can't really take steps back from now. It can only go forward. I think everybody's pretty unsure of how it's going to look like, and if it's going to be 10 overs a side or whatever. But I think everything that's happening now for women's cricket is very positive and very exciting. So hopefully there's a few cool changes coming. Maybe a cool women's IPL. Hopefully South Africa steps up and gets the women's Mzansi League going even better and bigger. So yeah, we'll see.
Fantastic. Let's hope so. I think it's on the cards, but I'm not going to say too much. What's your fondest memory in the game, or of the game, or of your career currently?
I can't really think back long, but I think the most recent memory for me was when we won the New Zealand series in New Zealand early this year. I think after our last ODI, we sat for hours on the field as a team together. We had a few drinks, we had snacks, and we kind of just sat there and spoke about what we've just done, and how did we get here. And I think we've just enjoyed, in that moment, we kind of just enjoyed each other's company and just enjoyed the moment and where we are. And I think that's something you don't really get a lot in your career. I think it's kind of those moments that define, your career. And I think it's kind of those moments that when your career is done, you kind of look back and you remember those fond memories. So I think that's what pretty pretty much one of my best memories that I've been on.
Yeah. I think everyone that I've spoken to since that series, including Russell and a few other staff, said that that's one of their defining moments as well. They just like, it brings home to them all the time. So yeah, that's massive. Must have been incredible for you guys. So a question from another fan or someone that was watching. I'm putting you into another scenario here quickly, and I promise you I'm not going to keep you for too much longer.
Nice.
I got one question after this one.
Okay, cool.
And we'll leave it at that. When you're batting and it's not going well and you're not timing the ball, you're not feeling it, you can't read the bowler, things aren't going your way, what do you tell yourself mentally? What is your game plan, and how are you going to implement it in the next few deliveries and in the overs to come?
Yeah, I think a pretty good example of that scenario would be one of our games in New Zealand. I think it was our second game, and we needed to, if we won that game, we would have won the series. And I remember we only needed something like 130 runs to win in an ODI game, which is actually nothing.
Yeah.
But I think Lizelle got out pretty quickly, and I was batting number 3. And I think the captain kind of just thought to herself, like, if they don't put pressure on the 2 batsmen that were in at the moment, like, they're obviously not going to win the game because we're going to get the run. So they had to put pressure on. And I remember they kind of just, one of their fastest bowlers came around the wicket and kind of just stacked everyone here next to, on the leg side. And I couldn't time the ball. I couldn't middle the ball. I knew if I just, got it wrong, it would have been in the hands of anyone around me. And I remember thinking to myself, like, you have 50 overs to bat. Like, it's such a long time. You literally need 1 or 2 runs an over. And if the next bowler comes on and you get a 4, then you've kind of saved the next over. So in that situation, I kind of just try to play as late as possible. I think that was one of the biggest things for me. I just said to myself, just play as late as possible. I don't care if you edge it for 4 or if you edge it through wherever. Just get through that over, play as late as possible, and you get to the next over and you try again there. So I think that was something, and that was something big for me. We ended up winning that game with 9 wickets or something. So that was a pretty cool moment where pressure was so on. You've never won a series against New Zealand. You could be the one to win the series now. So I think the pressure was so big. But obviously it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely did. And from a coaching point, I think that's massive. It's actually career defining to a point where you just need to learn to bat time, because I think people think there's no time in the game, and there really is. So very good answer. Very good answer.
Thanks.
So final question, and I'm going to leave you at that. It's been 45 minutes already. It's been a long time.
Cool.
What's next for Sune Luus? Where to from here? What's on your plans?
I don't know. Depends what Cyril says tomorrow.
Okay, so you're talking government-wise.
No, but yeah, obviously, hopefully the Big Bash still goes on, and I would love to get another contract. I don't really care if it's for the Brisbane Heat, if it's for the Wren. I don't really care for who it is. It's just awesome to be a part of that competition, and then obviously, still for the Proteas. To get as many opportunities as I can to do, to do the best I can, and then hopefully just become a very, very senior person in the team, and to play as long as I can, and then from a non-cricketing side, to get as many opportunities as I can to get in front of the camera, not in cricket clothes, but hopefully in presenting clothes. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
No, definitely. And I saw someone mentioned it earlier. And just for everyone else to know, you were obviously part of the MSL last year, media manager, or what it was for Spartans, but you were with the side, and I think that was quite a good journey for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know our league is going to change in the next few months, so hopefully you can join one of those sides again. Yeah,
hopefully. That'd be super cool.
Awesome. Sune, thank you for your time,
man.
Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry for keeping you so long. I didn't mean to.
No, I don't have any other plans. Don't worry.
Yeah, no nights out or anything like that with friends, because obviously we locked it.
I might say hi to the neighbors now, but it's nothing. I'll keep my distance.
Okay, cool. Well, you enjoy that, and thank you again
No
for your
worries.
time.
Stay
And
safe anytime.
yeah.